Alright, so today we want to take a look at using inverse trig functions. And when are we going to use this? We're going to use this anytime we're trying to find theta and two sides of a right triangle are known to us. So here's a little example. We got a right triangle here, and we want to know what this angle is, theta. And we know that this side is 5, and this side is 10. So we know two sides of the right triangle. So when we look at this information, we say, well, what are these two sides that we have? We have the hypotenuse, right? And we have the opposite side. So the trig function that is a ratio of opposite and hypotenuse is the sine function. So we would write down sine of theta equals 5 over 10. Opposite over hypotenuse, right? So sine of theta is equal to 1/2 if you want to simplify. So if we want to get theta by itself, we have to undo sine. So when you undo something, you're doing the inverse. So you would want to have your calculator. And, well, before you get your calculator, you want to take the inverse sine. So you're going to take inverse sine of the left and inverse sine of the right. Doing the inverse sine and the sine, these are inverse operations, so they undo each other. And so then we're going to have inverse sine of 1/2. So I'll put my calculator here where we can zoom out so we can see. So we're going to press inverse sine, right? So it's going to be second sine for inverse sine. We're going to put in 0.5, or you could do 1 divided by 2 or 5 divided by 10. Enter, and we get 30. Theta is 30 degrees. You do the same thing with cosine, you do the same thing with tangent. You're remembering this from geometry. Now, if somebody said, Ms. Collier, why did you use sine? I used sine because it had opposite and hypotenuse. So depending on which sides you have, that determines what trig function you would use. Alright, let's do one additional example. Let's say my theta's up here this time. And let's say I've got 5 and 17. So across from your right angle is your hypotenuse. Across from theta is opposite. And then next to theta is adjacent. So I'm asking myself, which trig function is a ratio that contains the opposite and the adjacent, and that would be tangent. So tangent of theta equals opposite over adjacent, TOA, so that's 5 over 17. So then I'm going to take the inverse tangent of both sides. Inverse tangent and tangent undo each other. So then I'm going to go to my calculator. And I'm going to do inverse tangent of 5 divided by 12. Enter. And when we do angles, we usually round to the tenths place, 22.6 degrees. Oh, thank you for catching that, Michelle. I pressed a 12 instead of a 17. Let me go again. Tangent 5 divided by 17. Thank you. So 16.4 degrees. Alright, so that's inverse trig functions. Alright, I don't know what the black box was. Alright, so now you switch over. Okay, so now we're going to talk about elevation and depression. And guys, you're going to go grab this in however it suits you. Let me just explain to you. Right here, you've just got a PDF file. So you can open this PDF file, you can download it and open it and write in your notebook if you want. This is the same PDF file on ClassKick. So you can go to ClassKick and write on here. And if you want to, on your ClassKick, let me just say,